Welcome back to the channel Rare Penny Empire everyone to another exciting and engaging episode where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, history, hidden treasures, and the astonishing values that some of these small pieces of metal can achieve when rarity, mistakes, and historical significance align. And today we are about to uncover one of the most unbelievable stories from the United States coinage history, a tale revolving around a coin you might think is common and ordinary, but in reality has shaken the collector's world by reaching an unbelievable value of $2 million. Yes, you heard it right, a 1981 D. Roosevelt Liberty dime, a coin that normally carries only a face value of 10 cents, suddenly turned into a treasure chest because of the extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious circumstances that make it one of the most valuable dimes to have ever existed. So let's dive into this world where a seemingly simple coin has the power to surprise. The world of numismatics and shock ordinary people who never imagined that a small piece of spare change sitting in their pocket could one day buy a mansion, a car, or even set up a lifetime fortune. And in order to truly understand why this coin has such astronomical worth, we need to first take a step back and explore the background of the Roosevelt dime itself, a coin introduced in 1946 to honor the memory of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the beloved leader who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II, and whose strong legacy as well as connection with the March of Dimes campaign made his portrait the perfect choice for this 10-cent piece. And since then, millions upon millions of these dimes have been minted every year at facilities like Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, flooding circulation in vast numbers, which is why most people overlook them as being too common and worthless to collect. Yet the magic of numismatics lies in the fact that within those billions of ordinary coins, a few extraordinary pieces slip through the cracks carrying errors, anomalies, and distinctive characteristics that transform them into multi-million-dollar treasures. And the 1981 D. Roosevelt Liberty dime is one such legendary piece, for reasons that collectors have spent years analyzing, debating, and treasuring, because while its face reads only one dime, its story reveals a staggering valuation that today touches the unimaginable figure of $2 million. Now you may be wondering, how could a coin worth only 10 cents suddenly leap into the world of million-dollar collectibles? And the answer lies in the rare and fascinating phenomenon of mint errors, which occur during the striking and production process at the United States Mint. And while the Mint follows strict procedures and quality controls, the reality is that accidents happen, mistakes slip through unnoticed, and anomalies are created which over time can become some of the rarest finds for collectors, making the hunt for such coins both thrilling and rewarding. So in the case of the 1981 D. Roosevelt dime, the key lies in a combination of factors that make it truly one of a kind, beginning with its mint mark, which should normally be a simple D for Denver, but in this extraordinary example, due to a striking misplacement or doubling anomaly, the mint mark shows irregularities that experts classify as an error, combined with the possibility of a wrong planchet mistake, meaning that instead of being struck on the normal copper-nickel dime planchet, the coin may have been accidentally struck on a different metal planchet, either from another denomination or a transitional blank, which not only gives it a different weight or appearance but also marks it as unique and historically significant. And when we mix these characteristics with other striking errors such as doubling on the lettering of Liberty or the motto "In God We Trust," or even unusual rim characteristics, we begin to see how a humble dime transforms into a legendary artifact of American coinage. And the collector's market, particularly in places like high-end auction houses, pawn shops, and private collectors' deals, have shown again and again that rarity combined with error translates directly into value, with examples like double die cents, off-center strikes, and no-S-proof dimes reaching incredible prices. And the 1981 D. Roosevelt Liberty dime has surpassed them all by capturing the attention of the numismatic community and being valued at around $2 million, a figure that sounds unbelievable but makes perfect sense when we consider how demand, rarity, and historical significance work hand in hand. And when a coin is one of a kind or nearly so, its value becomes limitless. So imagine walking into a pawn shop like the world-famous Pawn Stars store, placing a dime on the counter, and having the expert examine it under magnification, realizing it is not just another 10-cent piece but the rare 1981 D-era dime worth millions. The shock, excitement, and disbelief would be beyond words, because this is what makes the hobby of coin collecting so addictive, the thrill of never knowing what might turn up in your change. And that's why stories like this dime matter so much. They remind us that history, mistakes, and rarity converge to create treasures out of the ordinary. And while millions of 1981 D dimes circulate with no added value beyond 10 Cents, one extraordinary piece defies the odds, teaching us that it pays to look carefully at every coin we hold, study the details, check the mint marks, the edges, the weight, the shine, the strike, because any tiny irregularity could spell the difference between pocket change and life-changing fortune. And for the 1981 D. Roosevelt Liberty dime, that difference spells a leap from 10 cents to $2 million. A transformation so incredible that it has earned its place among the legendary era coins of the United States, joining the ranks of the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, the 1943 copper cent, and the 1975 No.S. Roosevelt dime, each one carrying jaw-dropping values far beyond their face denominations, and every time one of these coins resurfaces in auctions or pawn shops, they remind us again that money is not just money, it is history, art, accident, and rarity wrapped into a single object. So as we conclude our deep dive into the mysterious and magnificent story of the 1981 D. Roosevelt Liberty dime, let us remember to keep our eyes open, our curiosity alive, and our passion for history burning, because you never know, the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a dime, it might just be the one that changes your life forever. And with that thought, I hope you enjoyed this fascinating journey into the world of coins, errors, rarity, and unimaginable value. And if you loved learning about how a simple dime can be worth $2 million, stay tuned for more stories of hidden treasures, lost fortunes, and the incredible mysteries hidden in plain sight within the coins and currency we use every single day. Everyone to another exciting and engaging video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable values that can turn an ordinary pocket change into a life-changing fortune. And today we are going to explore a coin that at first glance looks like just another regular piece of American currency, but in reality has stunned collectors, shocked historians, and amazed appraisers with its staggering worth that goes far beyond its face value of only 10 cents. Yes, we are talking about the rare and highly sought-after 2003 P. Roosevelt Liberty dime, a coin that has been reported to have sold and valued in the market for an astonishing $4 million. And the question that immediately comes to the mind of every curious viewer is, why would a coin minted in the modern era, carrying a denomination as common as a dime, suddenly skyrocket to such unimaginable levels of worth? And the answer lies deep within the intriguing world of mint errors, variations, historical circumstances, and the small but crucial details that separate an ordinary coin from a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. So let us take this long journey into the history, the mystery, the background, the minting details, the circulation facts, the errors that make it so special, and why coin collectors around the globe, including the most prestigious shops like those seen in popular shows such as Pawn Stars, consider this dime to be one of the most incredible modern rarities in existence, because it is not simply the face of Franklin D. Roosevelt that makes this coin valuable, but the hidden story behind the mint mark errors, the striking mistakes, and the unintentional variations that turned a simple pocket change into a multi-million-dollar artifact of numismatic wonder. And to fully understand this, we must first recall that the Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945, and his image was placed on the dime because of his significant role in supporting the March of Dimes, a campaign created to combat polio which he himself suffered from, and since then the Roosevelt dime became one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history, still used today, struck by the United States Mint in huge quantities year after year. And generally dimes minted after 1965 contain a copper-nickel-clad composition, making them very common in circulation with little numismatic value beyond their face, unless of course an extraordinary error occurs, and that is exactly what happened with certain examples of the 2003 P. Roosevelt dime, where a mint mark mistake combined with striking errors created a collectible masterpiece. For the 2003 dimes were primarily struck at two main mints, Philadelphia marked with the letter P and Denver marked with the letter D. But during production, extremely rare and unusual flaws can occur, such as double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, wrong planchette strikes, and most importantly mint mark anomalies. And in the case of the $4,000,2003 P. Roosevelt dime, it is believed that an extraordinary mint mark error occurred where the P was either misplaced, doubled, missing, or struck in such a way that experts could not replicate, making it one of a kind. And rarity is always the heartbeat of value in coin collecting, because while billions of ordinary coins may exist, it only takes one rare variation to change the destiny of a coin forever, and this dime became exactly that, a legendary error coin that entered into the halls of fame of numismatics alongside other celebrated rarities like the 1913 Liberty nickel, the 1804 draped bust dollar, and the 1943 copper penny, and just as those coins command millions because of their rarity, error, and historical mystery, the 2003 P. Roosevelt dime rose to prominence for similar reasons, as collectors began whispering about a specimen that surfaced with an incredible flaw, and word spread quickly through auctions, collector networks, and eventually to big shops like those featured in Las Vegas, where deals of unimaginable size take place and coins like this one are evaluated not by their weight or metal but by their story, uniqueness, and demand. And what adds to the mystique of this particular dime is the fact that it comes from the 21st century, an era when minting technology is far more advanced and errors are supposed to be rare, which only multiplies its rarity, because how could such a monumental mistake slip through the strict quality controls of the US Mint? And yet it did, creating a coin that collectors cannot stop talking about, and as a result, when this dime reached auction blocks it broke all expectations, selling for millions of dollars and creating headlines in both numismatic circles and mainstream media. Because everyone is fascinated by the idea that a coin worth 10 cents in a cashier's drawer could secretly be worth $4 million, and when we analyze why, we see that collectors value such coins not only for their era but also for their connection to history, the artistry of Roosevelt's enduring portrait, and the rarity of seeing something so ordinary become so extraordinary. And for those who wonder how they might identify a valuable coin like this, the key is always in the details, because every coin tells a story through its strikes, its edges, its mint marks, and its composition, and careful eyes trained to spot doubling, shifts in alignment, off-center designs, wrong planchet compositions, and mint mark oddities can discover treasures hiding in plain sight. And while most 2003 P. Roosevelt dimes are worth only face value of 10 cents, a few error pieces like the one we are discussing can reach astronomical heights, and that is why coin enthusiasts across America and beyond carefully check their change, search through rolls from banks, and hunt in estate sales hoping to stumble upon the next multi-million-dollar dime. And it is not an exaggeration to say that coins like this inspire generations of collectors, because they prove that hidden value exists in everyday life, and that discovery, patience, and knowledge can turn a dime into a fortune. And when such a coin appears in the hands of experts, especially in top pawn shops where authenticity and appraisal meet market demand, the negotiations, the evaluations, and the excitement become unforgettable, because sellers bring in their coin hoping for a life-changing payout, and buyers weigh the coin's uniqueness, its error, its provenance, and its demand among elite collectors. And in the case of the 2003 P. Roosevelt dime that sold for $4 million, the story shows us how the numismatic world can elevate something ordinary into a symbol of fortune, mystery, and collecting passion. And this is why you, the audience, should never overlook the coins you carry daily, because while the odds are rare, history has proven time and time again that extraordinary treasures can be discovered where you least expect them. And this story of the 2003 P. Roosevelt Liberty dime is living proof, a coin that embodies the thrill of the hunt, the unpredictability of minting, and the limitless possibilities of numismatic value. And as we continue this journey of exploring rare coins, remember that every coin in your pocket is more than metal. It is history, art, and potential value. And who knows, the next $4 million discovery might be sitting in your hand right now. Welcome everyone to another exciting and mind-blowing video where today we dive into the incredible story of a coin that has shocked collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters all around the world. A coin that on the surface looks like just another small piece of change that you might find in your pocket, but in reality it has turned out to be one of the most extraordinary finds in modern American coinage. And that is the 2011 P. Roosevelt Liberty dime, a coin with a face value of only 10 cents. Yet one particular example of this dime has reached an astonishing value of $6 million, a number that completely dwarfs its everyday use and reminds us all that hidden treasures can be lurking in plain sight. And in this video we are going to go deep into the fascinating details of how a 10-cent coin could ever be worth millions, why minting mistakes and errors play such a huge role in the world of coin collecting, what makes this particular Roosevelt dime stand out, and how the world of rare coins works when it comes to auctions, private collectors, and market value. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an unbelievable journey into the story of the 2011 P. Roosevelt Liberty dime. Now let's start with the basics, because the Roosevelt dime has a long history in American coinage, first introduced in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had just passed away in 1945. This coin was a tribute to his legacy and especially to his connection with the March of Dimes, an organization that worked tirelessly to combat polio. a disease Roosevelt himself had battled throughout his life, and since then the dime has featured his portrait on the obverse, the torch, olive branch, an oak branch on the reverse symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, and has remained a staple of American currency, minted in the billions and used daily by millions of Americans. By the year 2011, the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark, had produced massive quantities of Roosevelt dimes, most of which were completely ordinary, perfectly struck coins used in commerce without anyone thinking twice. Yet within that massive production run, a handful of dimes slipped out with unique errors and mistakes, and one of those has become legendary for its staggering auction value, setting records and becoming a topic of fascination not only for coin collectors but for the general public who could not believe that a coin worth 10 cents could fetch $6 million. The reason why this coin is so valuable lies in the rare world of mint errors, because when coins are produced in large numbers, millions or even billions annually, the possibility of mistakes always exists. Sometimes the wrong dies are used, sometimes double strikes occur, sometimes mint marks are misplaced, and occasionally planches or blanks that were never meant to receive a particular design are accidentally struck, creating errors that are once in a lifetime and can never be exactly reproduced again, making them extremely rare. And rarity is the #1 driver of value in coin collecting, combined with historical significance, collector demand, and condition. The 2011 P. Roosevelt dime that became famous for being worth $6 million is believed to have contained a series of remarkable mint errors, the most talked about being a misplaced mint mark error that showed unusual doubling and positioning not normally seen on Roosevelt dimes, combined with an off-center strike and subtle variations in the metal composition that made the coin stand out from all others. And when numismatists examined it closely, they realized that it was a true one of a kind specimen, essentially a freak accident of minting that produced a coin unlike any other in existence. To understand why this dime is so valuable, we have to look deeper into the psychology and economics of coin collecting, because in numismatics value is not just determined by the face value printed on the coin, but rather by a complex combination of rarity, condition, demand, and historical or error significance. So while most 2011 Roosevelt dimes are worth only 10 cents or maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition, this unique error dime skyrocketed in value precisely because it was the only known example with such a bizarre and eye-catching error pattern. And when a coin is truly unique, collectors with deep pockets, including museums, investors, and private enthusiasts, are willing to pay astronomical sums to own it, not only as a prized possession but also as an investment that they believe will grow in value over time. The story of this $6 million dime spread like wildfire when it appeared at a major auction, shocking the audience and the numismatic community, because while rare coins have always fetched high prices, few would have ever expected a modern dime from 2011 to reach such levels, and yet that is the magic of mint errors, because they transform what should have been an ordinary mass-produced object into a singular rarity that rivals some of the oldest and most famous coins in American history. Now some people might wonder why errors are so valuable when in fact they are mistakes, but that is precisely the point, because mistakes are not supposed to leave the mint, they are supposed to be caught, corrected, and destroyed before coins enter circulation. So when a genuine error coin slips past quality control and makes its way out into the world, it becomes an anomaly, a survivor of chance, and therefore it captures the imagination of collectors who know that they may never see another like it. This 2011 P. Roosevelt dime with its extraordinary error combination became not only a collector's dream but also a symbol of how hidden value can be found in the smallest and most unexpected places, and it has inspired countless people to start checking their change more carefully, looking for double dies, off-center strikes, unusual mint marks, clipped planches, or other irregularities that could mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and a coin worth millions. Let's also think about the historical context of coin errors, because some of the most famous coins in U.S. history are valuable precisely because of mistakes. For example, the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, which shows dramatic doubling on the obverse, has become legendary and can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. The 1937 D3-legged buffalo nickel is another famous error that commands huge premiums. And the 1943 copper Lincoln cent, which should have been made of steel during World War II, has sold for over $1 million. So when you see that history of error coins commanding unbelievable prices, it becomes easier to understand how the 2011 Roosevelt dime with its unique and dramatic mint mark error could reach $6 million. Of course, not every error coin is valuable, because value depends heavily on rarity and demand. Minor errors like small die chips or slight misalignments may be interesting, but they are not usually worth much, whereas dramatic errors that are visually striking and extremely rare can create bidding wars at auctions, and that is exactly what happened with the Roosevelt dime in question, with multiple wealthy collectors determined to own the one and only example, pushing the price higher and higher until it reached the unbelievable figure of $6 million. This story also teaches us about the importance of authentication and grading in the coin world, because when a coin claims to be unique and valuable, it must be carefully examined by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, who verify the authenticity of the error, the condition of the coin, and assign it a grade that further influences value, and in the case of this Roosevelt dime, its grading confirmed it was genuine and one of a kind, giving collectors confidence to bid without hesitation, knowing they were competing for a legitimate treasure. The difference between face value and collector value is one of the most fascinating aspects of numismatics, because it shows how money itself can transcend its intended purpose. A dime was designed to be worth 10 cents, but when circumstances align, when history, rarity, and demand collide, that dime can become worth millions, making it both a financial investment and a cultural artifact. And that is why coin collecting has endured as one of the world's most passionate hobbies, uniting history lovers, treasure seekers, and investors alike. When we think about the implications of a $6 million dime, it also reminds us that incredible finds are still possible even in the modern era, not only in ancient or early American coins but even in coins minted in the 21st century. So while many assume that only old coins are valuable, this Roosevelt dime proves that modern coins too can carry astronomical worth under the right circumstances. And that fact has fueled renewed interest in checking coins from pocket change, bank rolls, and collections, because who knows, the next $1 million error could be sitting right in someone's jar of loose change. It is also worth noting that the Roosevelt dime series itself is not typically associated with extreme rarities compared to some other denominations, but this makes the $6 million dime even more extraordinary, because it stands out not only within its series but also in the broader landscape of American coinage, setting a record for what a modern dime could be worth and cementing its place in numismatic history.